Today we have a job that I can confidently say none of us are looking forward to. None of us are going to be enjoying this job. It's the kind of job that you really wish you did not have to do, but it can't be like pushed off, it can't be delayed, it has to be done. So the situation that we have right now is the water line over at the barn that runs down to the sheep barn. If you've been here a while, you may remember, not this past summer, but the summer before, we fixed it twice. It's a really old water line. It's this one spot that continues to give us problems. Well, the day before yesterday, Dad went up to do afternoon chores, and there was water coming up out of the ground again. And yeah, it's a pretty good leak, so that does have to be fixed. We got some rain on Wednesday, which was so nice. We ended up getting like 1.5 inches, I think, which is the most rain that we've gotten in a long time, and we absolutely needed that. We are very thankful for the rain. We had actually, so after harvest, we would usually be going into fall tillage to prepare the ground for planting next spring. Go ahead and get that started, but it was so dry that it couldn't be done. We actually tried with the V-ripper, which is a really deep ripper, to go in, but the ground was so hard that the ripper wouldn't dig in. So we really needed the rain, got 1.5 inches. It's soaked in very nicely, and we're very thankful for that. So with that 1.5 inches, we didn't dig into the water line yesterday. We just kind of took it a little bit easier yesterday. However, today we are going to be digging into the water line, seeing what we have. I don't think it's going to be pretty. We're kind of dreading it, but it needs to get done. So yeah, that's what we're going to be working on today. So stay tuned. Y'all can come along with us for the ride. It's kind of a mess. This water line is kind of the pain, honestly. So anyways, that's the full situation. We're gonna head over here. We got the backhoe going over here right now and get this dug into and just see what kind of mess we're dealing with over here. Here's what we're looking at. You can see there's just like, it's flowing here up out of the ground, and it's a steady stream there. So yeah, you can see that there. So yeah, we're gonna start digging in right here, see what we find, and hope that we can get this fixed.
I'm sure Abby showed you the hole in the ground where water's bubbling up, and I don't think that's because we have so much rain. So we have stuff like this, and I just want to apologize to people that email us and I don't get back to them. Sometimes it gets caught in the spam folder, but I ain't had time to go through emails. I know Shalom Brother John, I guess I apologize, I haven't got to your email, and there's different questions, and I just apologize that we're so busy and I'm so lazy. So I'll get to them sometime.
I don't think this is a job that any of us particularly look forward to or enjoy, no matter when we have to do it, but it was about 28 degrees out this morning, so that definitely kind of just adds more. Makes this less enjoyable, because when you're dealing with a water line and mud and it's cold, that just makes it much worse. So notice the blocks behind the tires, because the brake on this tractor is very bad, so we just block it. And this is our old International 1066. This is its one job, to run the backhoe, so it gets it done. begins. Good morning, everybody. It is a very cool fall morning outside. It is about 19 degrees and it is very cold, but this is actually supposed to be one of the warmer days we're gonna have this week, and then it's supposed to get like really cold down to about the single digits at night. With the cold weather, things have definitely slowed down a lot on the farm and there has not been as much going on or as much to record. But I wanted to bring you guys along with me doing chores this morning, and then I'll give you guys an update on the sheep barn and then give you a little update on the water line situation because I did not give you guys a final update on that. So I'll do that. First, I will give you guys a little update on the sheep, how we're all doing in here. So here is the main sheep pen. Have everybody in here. Hi, Sally. Then over here we have little Pee-wee, and this is my not quite sick pen, but my special care pen, because what happened was a little while ago Pee-wee just started falling behind from the rest of the flock, and she was acting really off. When I first noticed it, her ears were just drooping down and she wasn't going up to get grain like she normally would, which is like very odd for any of my sheep. So we pinned her off pretty quickly to get her in a pen by herself so she could have special attention, make sure she's getting everything she needs. And so she's been having grain and hay. We did give her some wormer because we had wormed them fairly recently, but that was kind of just like the first thing that we thought could be wrong with her. So we went ahead and gave her some wormer, and she did start to improve. So now she's doing pretty good. She's just chilling in here in this pen. She gets, you know, grain and hay, and she is definitely like one of my smaller ewes. So when she's in the pen with the other sheep, she would be getting picked on more. So she wouldn't be getting as much hay and grain. So I've just kept her in here for a little extra time, even though she probably could go back in with the rest. So I want to kind of fatten her up a little bit, especially going into winter, so she's not too thin. So that's kind of the situation. She's doing very good. She loves being in here. She gets her own little bit of grain every morning, and she waits patiently for it, and she is adorable. And then the big sheep, the rest of the sheep, go outside and eat hay. So that is the situation in the sheep barn, and now I'm gonna get chores done. Hey, Cinderblock. Hi, Dolly. Dolly is adorable, by the way. She's so cute. As you can probably tell, I am inside now, so I needed to record a little bit explaining the next footage that y'all are gonna see, but it was freezing cold this morning, and I was like, I'm not gonna just stand out here in the cold. I'm gonna go inside where it's nice and warm, and then we can record. So now y'all get me inside where maybe it's terrible lighting, and just chilling here to record a little explanation here. So to kind of wrap up the water line story, we got it dug up. We got a sump pump in there, and that just pumped all the water out of the hole. It kept, like, as fast as we were, you know, pumping it out, it kept draining back in. We did have the water turned off, but I think something was wrong with the turn off valve, that it wasn't turned completely off, so there was still a trickle of water coming in. So anyways, it was not a fun ordeal. However, we did get it that afternoon. We found a plug to put over the end of that pipe. We had threads, and so we just put a plug on that, and that got it as a temporary fix, because with the way the water line is set up, the only thing that didn't have water at that point would have been the sheep barn, because the pipe still ran to the cattle waterer, which was the important thing, and then we could just hand water the sheep until we could get the entire line fixed, if that makes any sense. So that might be kind of confusing. But we got it temporarily fixed for that day, and then we had rain coming in, so that Saturday, Papa and Dad went over there and they got it kind of permanently fixed. We had to go up and get some different pipe, because there's like multiple different kinds of pipe running down there on that water line, so we had to find the correct kind, which thankfully there was a place uptown that had some. So we got that installed, got it fixed before the rain, because after the rain that hole was like filled with water for so long. So we got it fixed. Now it is covered back up, and there has been no leaks since then, so it should be good to go now. Hopefully we won't have any more problems with that line for quite a while at least. Hope that kind of wraps up the explanation of the water line. And then the next footage that I have for y'all in this video is going to be putting on anhydrous. So anhydrous is something that gets done every year. It can be done in the fall or the spring, but it is in preparation for next planting season. So even though we just finished harvest season not too long ago, we are already making preparations for our next crop. So what anhydrous is a fertilizer. It is nitrogen. Now for what we plant, corn and soybeans, corn needs nitrogen. Beans do not need nitrogen. Beans are actually the kind of plant called a legume. They put nitrogen back into the soil, whereas corn requires nitrogen to grow, so it's taking nitrogen out of the soil. So we need to put nitrogen back in the soil every year to replenish what has been taken out of the soil, but to give plenty of nitrogen for the next crop of corn to use to grow. So that is what we're doing with anhydrous. Anhydrous, it is a gas, so it probably going to be very bad at explaining this, so I'm just giving y'all fair warning here. It gets like a little trench almost cut into the ground. It is then injected into the ground, and then that trench gets covered back up and sealed up, so that the gas is then trapped and sealed underground. You have to wait for the ground soil temperature to get below 50 degrees. If you put it in above 50 degrees, then you'll actually lose all of that nitrogen before next spring. So we wait till it gets cold, then we put in the nitrogen, then it stays there over winter, and it is there and ready for when we have corn planted there next spring. We can also put anhydrous on in the spring. We've just been doing it in the fall. And it just gets put on the ground that is going to be in corn next year. And then the ground that's going to be in beans doesn't need it. Because as I said, corn is the only one that actually needs nitrogen to grow. So I hope that is kind of an explanation for how anhydrous works, why we use it, and how it is applied. So we have somebody put it on for us. I always love watching them put on anhydrous because it's just so impressive to see. They have these big rigs. They had 2 big rigs that they brought in this year. They get in, they get it done so quickly, and then they're just gone. So you're gonna have to give footage and all that quickly because they're not gonna be here long. They really do a good job. They get it done quickly, and it's just enjoyable to watch because it's such a smooth operation. So we did get some drone footage of them putting on anhydrous, which I think is fun footage, and I think y'all are gonna like it. So hopefully you maybe learned a little bit about what anhydrous is. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing of an explanation. And if you have any more questions about it, let me know. And enjoy the footage of anhydrous being put on. So there it is. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Maybe learned a little bit of something about anhydrous. And if not, hope you enjoyed the neat drone footage. I enjoyed watching it because it's just like fun to watch. So anyways, that is going to be it for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank you once again for continuing to follow along and support and all that stuff. It is getting closer to winter time, so the videos have slowed down a bit, but we're still going to have stuff going on. I know some of y'all are wanting to see a Thanksgiving video, so I am thinking that I'm going to record a little bit on Thanksgiving because we like sharing that with you. And then we're going to have pigs coming in soon. So it's going to keep us busy even through winter with the hog houses and all that. So thank you guys for coming along again. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time.